Welcome to episode 23 of Rewind Heroes. I'm your co-host, Greg Compton.
And I'm your other co-host, Dan Gaines. This is going to be your video podcast where we talk everything in movies, music, television, everything that Greg and I find cool.
That's right, and this is our special edition, Spooktacular. We've got pretty much everything we love about Halloween. We're going to talk about our top 15 movies that we love. I'm going to run down some recommendations of ones you might not have seen that I think Dan should check out. We'll talk some spooky music. We got a lot going, so let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it, yeah.
Let's talk some spooky classics.
All right, Greg, we've got 15 movies to cover. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get this thing started off right. What's up first?
Okay, well, we're not really going to review these, just talk about the ones that are some of our favorites, and we know we'll miss a lot of yours. But I think number one's got to be Halloween, right?
Absolutely.
The original Halloween, Mike Myers, when you could be scared in pure daylight with a dude in a mask, William Shatner mask, hiding behind a tree. It's the perfect Halloween film, perfect
100%, 100%. The sound, the music, the creepiness of him just being the boogeyman, phenomenal.
Exactly, and Jamie Lee Curtis, great breakthrough.
Yep.
Bottom line is, you want to start Halloween right, start it with Halloween, the first one, where it all started. What's next?
So when you're talking Halloween, you cannot talk about horror films without mentioning Friday the 13th. And I'm talking about the original. And a lot of people may not remember because Jason Voorhees has been blown up so much over the years. There's been so many films. He wasn't even in the original film. And this one was...
As a little boy, he is.
As a little boy.
For about 30 seconds.
As a little boy. But we don't see him as this slasher guy we've seen in, probably 20 films.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites. What about you?
I agree. It's got a really, really good twist to the end of it.
100%.
Won't fully spoil that if you haven't seen it. This is our point. Go check out the original Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Camp Crystal Lake, man. I'll tell you.
It's awesome.
I love it.
Yep. So what's next?
Well, talking about lakes and stuff, let's talk lagoons. Personally, I think you could talk about any Universal monster movie. My personal favorite, and though it's not known as the scariest, but I like Creature from the Black Lagoon. I saw it in college with the 3D glasses, an original print a professor got, so ever since I've just loved it. But really, really cool backdrops. The creature, I mean, it's a really good costume. A lot of good underwater photography for that time.
Especially for the time.
Yeah, and they used, I think, Olympic divers, maybe even someone that played Tarzan for it, because a lot of the Tarzan guys were Olympic-level divers and swimmers. So it was... There's just something about it. I cannot wait to see this remade. At some point, it's got to be.
I was going to say, well, the fact that Universal is doing their whole Universal Monsters relaunch, maybe Black Lagoon will be one of them.
I know they talked about it. I know there had been rumor back in the day before the relaunch of even having Scarlett Johansson as the woman in that. Really? I'd love to see the costume if they do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one of my near and dear B-movie style Halloween films. What do you have?
So, we could have mentioned a ton of different Alfred Hitchcock, but you've got to start with the original, Psycho. This film, to this day, stands up. I mean, you can put that thing in and watch it. That shower scene is so iconic. And, it was the first movie that we actually saw a toilet flush. But great horror film. And what do you think about it?
It's great, and the blood is Hershey syrup, which is another great thing because it's black and white.
Yep.
This film is phenomenal. It was based on a book. I mean, you can even watch, there's a Hitchcock movie about him making this film.
That's right. It's
just so good.
I forgot about that. It's just Hitchcock, right?
I think so. Completely avoid the remake with Vince Vaughn where they decided to do a shot-by-shot.
Horrible.
No, the original, it's just, it is like the template for so many thrillers.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. I mean, check out any Hitchcock, but start there. Start there.
I agree.
And then the next one I think of when I think black and white, old school horror movies is, and it's not probably, again, it's not an Academy Award winner, but the original House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price in his prime. And you can't have the season without Vincent Price, right? So it is an amazing film. The effects are horrendous. But it's a fun story. It was fun enough to remake with Jeffrey Rush, and I enjoyed that one too. But do yourself a favor. It's like, an hour and a half tops. I mean, it's one of these old school. If you want the old school feel of Halloween, you can't get better than House on Haunted Hill. Check it out. What's next on our list?
Going back to old school, and it kind of goes in line with Mike Myers, Jason Voorhees. You got to mention Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street. These movies, the first one especially, they are trippy in a way. It's creepy as hell. And it really does freak you out thinking about going to bed. And the fact that a lot of people may not know, that's Johnny Depp's first film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So great movie. You got to mention that when you're talking horror films.
I mean, you got to mention Freddy. I mean, we've mentioned the big three now. Mike Myers,
Exactly.
You've got Jason, you got Freddy. That's a staple, right?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
you've got those. Well, let's see. The next one I would say is another staple, probably the Universal films, and that would be the Wolfman.
Oh, yeah.
The original Wolfman. The remake's not bad, but the original one, I'm not a huge fan of Dracula and Frankenstein as far as the original films. The characters, the books, yes, but the films. Really, I think Wolfman is probably one of the best of those.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so definitely, if you haven't seen that, it's one of those. It's culturally relevant as far as everyone's heard of it. Not a lot of people have probably actually seen it at our age. So
Probably not.
go ahead and check it out. It's
And that's
great.
what I'll just throw this in here. Go out. I know we don't usually pub like a certain place to go pick up a movie, but Walmart right now has some really, really cool limited edition Blu-rays of all these Universal movies. They look phenomenal.
So
pick those things up.
Definitely. Well, what's something else? Let's shift gears.
Yeah, this is a little bit different. We talked about some of these slasher films and things. This one is more on the middle side, The Shining. This thing, to this day, is probably one of the scariest movies for me. The thing flips me out. The twins, the riding the tricycle through the hotel. Jack Nicholson is phenomenal. I actually was privileged enough to go to Colorado and actually see that hotel where they shot the film. So it's very close and dear to my heart. So I love that movie.
It's a great movie, and we'll talk about it later, but I'm in a band where we actually wrote a song. I wrote a song for the band that is kind of a parody called Red Rum, loosely based on The Shining.
That's
so
awesome.
it's a great movie. Check that one out.
Yep.
Nutty end, all work and no play, but it's good.
That's so cool.
Now that was kind of a different era of films from some of the older ones we were talking about. Another one that kicks things off would be Scream. The original Scream, that brought it all back in the 90s. It started I Know What You Did Last Summer. It started a whole new batch of these kind of films. It's a bit dated now, but I do like, as a guy that's into film, a guy that works in TV, when you have the rules of it. And
that's the thing I loved about it.
Yeah, it's a self-aware film, but it still makes you jump. So,
Absolutely.
I think you got to put the original Scream on that list, hands down. Revisit it.
No, and then another one back in 1999 that was a phenomenon was Blair Witch. You had the single camera.
That really happened.
Yeah, oh yeah, I guess and then they made a sequel to tell us what happened again.
Yeah.
But no, this thing was unlike anything we had seen at the time. It was way ahead of its time. And in fact, I remember the first time I saw this was when Sixth Sense came out. We was at a drive-in, and it was paired with Blair Witch Project. Didn't know anything about it. And that movie flipped me the hell out. I mean, I was a kid when that came out.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying. You really did. You thought you were watching a found footage. I mean, it was crazy.
It's never been done that well since.
Nope.
And it was the marketing. I mean, it still holds up. It's a great movie to really freak you out. To this day, I will not even send my kids to the corner to face the corner if they're in trouble because that'll freak me out.
Start reliving it, yeah.
Exactly. Now, on a totally different spectrum, let's talk a little claymation. Let's talk a little Nightmare Before Christmas.
Classic.
Halloween is a Christmas movie, but it is a classic. It's good songs, Oogie Boogie song. It's great,
Yep.
Danny Elfman does the voice of Jack Skellington. He does the singing for that character. We'll get into some other stuff he's done before, but that's the guy that does all the music scores.
And another groundbreaking film there too.
Really?
The way it was created. I mean, my goodness! And does it hold up? I mean, you don't know when that thing was made when you're watching.
It does. It is definitely a favorite. It's a musical. I don't know. There's something about it that's just timeless.
Yep.
Big fan of that. What else we got?
So the next one is going to probably, you guys may judge me, you may not, but I think there's a lot of us out there that love the family film Hocus Pocus this time of year.
I'll judge him.
It's tons of fun to watch. Is it going to be is it on the level of everything we just mentioned? Absolutely not. But it's also a completely different kind of film.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, I love watching it this time of year because it just brings back all those fun memories of watching that film.
That's the thing. I mean, you need to have it can't all be just the shock horror. I mean, you got to have the fun stuff. I mean, down to even like the Louis Armstrong kind of tunes of the 50s and this stuff. Headless Horseman. I mean, Halloween is about kids, so you've got to have the fun, the scary, a little bit of everything. So I totally agree. And on that level, I've kind of got my own. Like, if you're going with that,
sure.
I'm going with Beetlejuice.
Well, I won't judge you on that one because I love Beetlejuice.
It's another Tim Burton. It's not scary unless you're a kid, but it is hilarious.
And it's a blast to watch.
It puts you in that whole world, just Halloween. It's fun. Everyone wants to listen to the Banana song after that, but it's great. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
And then another one, kind of along those. Another one that's, to me, is it great? Is it one of my all-time favorites? No. But The Rocky Horror Picture Show, to me, is essential when you're talking Halloween time and the Halloween films. It's out there, totally bizarre.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's a movie where, again, it's culturally...
Yes.
Like, you can watch it now just to get you in the mood for Halloween, and you'll go, what on God's earth am I watching?
100%.
It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. But you know what it does have? It has memorable characters, and it has good music.
Great music.
The time warp is a staple. Science fiction double feature. The fact you've got Meatloaf riding in on a motorcycle. What's that song, Hot Patootie, Bless My Soul or whatever? I mean...
And it's become
Damn
much
it, Janet.
bigger,
I mean,
much bigger than a film. I mean, you have all these places around the country that are performing this thing live all through the month of October. So it's just a big cultural phenomenon.
It's an event. It's a thing.
Truly is.
So we had to put that on the list.
Yep.
And they're remaking that. Fox is remaking it, good or bad. Yeah. But that's going to be coming out, so take that or leave it. I guess we'll see. So then I'll round this whole segment out with an obvious one. Ghostbusters.
Yep.
That terrified me when I was 4. I thought my parents wouldn't let me watch it. Or was I 5? You have nightmares? No. I had nightmares. Zool freaked me out. You don't ever want to open a refrigerator for a couple weeks after seeing that movie, but it's so good. Moranis, you've got,
Well, and
we're talking the original.
Yeah, I haven't some people have nightmares about watching one with Kristen Wiig in it. So,
and I haven't seen that one. I'm not going to judge. I'll watch it just for fun for this October.
It's okay.
Well, I figured, but the original. Yep. So that again, there's so many we could have mentioned that we didn't, but this right here is kind of just our favorites that from this list is what I'll probably choose for what I'm going to watch in October.
I agree.
And if you haven't seen some of these, check them out. It's good.
And I think what we've done, so you guys should be thanking us, is that we've given you plenty of time, plenty of material that if you start as soon as you get done with this episode, you've got enough time to get through one of these each day until we get to Halloween.
Yeah. Now the other thing is most of these are well-known movies. Most of these you probably have seen, and this is a revisiting. There's probably some you haven't seen. So I'm going to walk you through, and some he hasn't seen. So
I can't wait to find out.
I'm going to walk you through a quick reco here coming up, spooky recommendations of a few films that kind of were under the radar. Very good. So let's get to the recommendations. Okay, so I've got a couple quick recommendations for Dan and for our viewers.
All right, hit me. I need some new stuff to watch. What do you have?
Number 1, Drag Me to Hell. This came out a handful of years ago. This is definitely a jumper. It's a Sam Raimi film, the Evil Dead guy, the Spider-Man guy. Check out Drag Me to Hell. This is what happens when a gypsy woman, you don't renew her mortgage or give her extension on her mortgage, and she puts a curse on you to drag you to hell. Great movie.
Yeah. Heard that story before.
Always happens. Number 2, The Cabin in the Woods. Some people loved it. Most people loved it. Some people hated it. Very much a self-aware film. Joss Whedon did this. It's what happens if the cabin is controlled by people to almost make a horror story. That's actually not really the twist. The twist comes later.
Interesting.
It's a fun ride. It's a self-aware horror film.
Cool.
Check that out. Fright Night, the original Fright Night from the 80s. This didn't win any awards, never would. It is. It's better than the original. Yeah, it's better than the original because at least it has the corniness factor, doesn't take itself too seriously. Check it out if you want to get yourself involved in that 80s B-movie, late night, not good, but eat some popcorn. If you want to get in that mood, that's the movie to watch.
Cool.
Then I would say you got to throw in an anthology. Trick or Treat was a highly underrated anthology. It's creepy. It's about 4 or 5 stories, very creepy. They all interconnect. Anna Paquin is in this. Actually, a lot of well-known actors are in this thing. But it is genuinely creepy. And the little kid, I threw him in there with Jason. All these is an icon, or should have been an iconic character, like a Chucky or something. He's just creepy. So check out Trick or Treat, and then finally one that you have seen, but we're recommending to them. What Lies Beneath with Michelle Pfeiffer, Harrison Ford. When Harrison Ford is not such a good person, this falls under classic Hitchcock style.
100%.
Yeah, so check this out. We won't ruin anything other than look at it. It came out,
2000.
12, 15 years? Jeez. Check it out. It still holds up.
It's great.
Extreme.
I think it's a Robert Zemeckis, we said.
That's right, yeah. So, life is like a drowning woman. I don't know. It's a creepy movie. It has to do with people drowning and just Yeah, hidden truth.
Yes.
Let's just go with that.
I like that, yeah.
So I think those are the ones that I would recommend. We've got a lot more to get to. Television. There's a lot of Halloween television. We need to go to that, right?
I can't think of any reason why.
So we need to go to some spooky shows.
All right, Greg, so we've already hit our viewers with some great stuff. But we're going to get into television. We all know right now in modern day we've got The Walking Dead, which we love. Right. And then we just finished up Stranger Things, which is phenomenal. But what are some great Halloween shows you recommend to everybody?
Recommend? I don't represent them, but I will recommend them fully. True Blood. Yeah. I love True Blood. It jumped the shark, jumped the vampire, whatever you want to call it. But the first 2 seasons, maybe actually the first 3, were really good. I enjoyed it. It's a wonderful romp. They add more than just vampires in it. It's just such a well done show. And hey, one of the lead vampires' last name is Compton. So I mean, I kind of have to love it, right?
Oh my God!
So
you didn't have a choice.
And I didn't. So check it out. True Blood, I think is. I don't know if, it's HBO, so if you get that. I don't know if you can find that on any of the other streaming networks. But
I haven't seen it, but.
Yeah, I mean, just True Blood. Check out the first few seasons after that. What else have we got?
So another one that was a lot of fun, especially when I was younger, I always felt like I was doing something a little wrong, checking this out, and that's Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yes.
These things were great. They were little stories within themselves, and they always pushed the bar a little bit. They were always out there, but tons of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean...
and honestly, the thing that made them good were bookending it with the Crypt Keeper at the beginning.
Absolutely.
If you could find, I don't know, I think someone had put a long time ago all these episodes up on YouTube.
Really?
Who knows if that's still out there. I saw it a couple years ago. If you could just find the opens and closes, you probably wouldn't lose much. I mean, they were better than the story. They did have some good movies, which actually, they had a couple movies. But one was good. The first one, Demon Knight. If you haven't seen it, Demon Knight was a lot of fun. So check that out too. But yeah, Tales of the Crypt. Another one that's an ongoing series would be Supernatural.
Okay.
I've seen a handful of those. It's definitely the CW drama kind of thing. But I mean, it's fun. It's a Monster of the Week show. They do have some particularly good episodes of it. Supernatural, man. Check it out. What else we got?
Yeah, so another one, I've got 2 of them for you. They're right along the same line. And that would be Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark?
All right.
I grew up with the books of Goosebumps, loved them, and then the TV series came out. Big fan. But I got to tell you, Are You Afraid of the Dark still holds a special place in my heart because I was a Nickelodeon kid and submitted for the approval by the Midnight Society. I'm telling you, I rewatched some of these just like last Halloween, and they still hold up. Some of these are actually creepy as hell. Okay. And for kids, I don't know how I watched it as a kid.
See, I just
great. So I think you dig it.
Yeah, I just missed the jump missed the boat on Are You Afraid of the Dark? So maybe I'll have to check that out. There you go. I'm getting recommended
exactly.
that. Another one, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sarah Michelle Gellar. It was cheesy, but again, it was a fun ride.
Yep.
I didn't watch every season, but I caught it here and there, and when I did, I enjoyed it. I'm thinking
it's another one of those fun shows.
Yeah, if you want something to put you in the mood, go Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not that mood. You know what I mean? Halloween
Moving
mood.
on. Let's go more family friendly, Greg.
Sure.
This is a family show. I'm going to recommend, it's one of those, it's on every year. I think it's on ABC, and it's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about totally different from everything we've just talked about. But when you see that, every year when I see that promotion showing, hey, it's coming out this Sunday, I check it out. I got to watch that 30-minute special because it resonates with me and reminds me this is the best time of year.
We own a copy of it at home,
Do you really?
and my kids love it. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Sometimes they want to watch it in the middle of the year. Just
cool.
That's the thing. So and that's why I wanted it on the list because again, Halloween's not all about slashers.
No, it's about these traditions and what we like to watch and what kind of makes you think of that time of year.
I think that's awesome. So yeah, I think that's a good list of TV. Again, we're just giving you everything so you can just splurge on the Halloween spirit. And I think next up I'll do a couple tunes. So we should do some spooky tunes.
Let's do it.
Spooky tunes.
All right, so we've done movies, television. It wouldn't be Halloween without the sound and the spooky chills and thrills of this season. So, Greg, please help me, help our viewers. What should we be listening to this season?
Sure. First thing I would say is pick up Oingo Boingo's Dead Man's Party. Not only is that song perfect, that whole album is just, songs I'm trying to remember what else. No One Lives Forever is on there. There's so many good songs that kind of have that dark humor. It's Danny Elfman fronting a rock band.
Cool.
That's how he got his start before he started writing all these scores for Tim Burton and others. So check out Oingo Boingo. I would say if you like something a little more hard rock, go with The Creep Show, Run for Your Lives. It's got songs like Demon Lover on it and some really nutty things. It's just hardcore guitar with stand-up bass, fast drum set, female vocalist. That's pretty good. Another group like that is called the Horror Pops. They had one called Kiss Kiss Kill Kill. That's not music everybody would like.
Sure.
Two more, one that I didn't even put on my list, was actually friends of mine, Midnight Syndicate. Midnight Syndicate is a group that they write instrumental music. They always say it's soundtracks to your imagination. And they have done some films as well. I think Paul Bunyan, Axe Murder or something. They've done a handful.
Cool.
They did the official Dungeons & Dragons soundtrack for the game, and as well as the game Zombies. Both those companies got them to do official soundtracks.
That's
for
awesome.
They write a ton of great albums. I'm trying to think of what my 13th Hour is good. Gates of Delirium, which kind of walks you through an old, I believe it's 19th century asylum.
Oh,
so it's got some sound effects, it's got the music, it's creepy.
That's cool.
You put those outside when you have kids trick-or-treating, and I've done that. It's awesome. And I mean, those guys are good. I've gotten a chance to meet one of the guys that works on that group. Really good guy. Ed is awesome. It's a duo. They do some really good stuff. They're out of Ohio. Okay. And then lastly, I met him because I'm in a band.
Yep.
And we played the Horror Hound Convention, and that's when I first met Ed of Midnight Syndicate. But my group, the Graveyard Stompers. So we are, now we're a 7-piece band, full horn line. And we do shows around town where we do covers, but we also have written originals. We have 2 albums, Who's Got the Mojo and A Night at Ghastly Grimm's. I'm always gonna, just hawk our own wares. And you can get these on iTunes, you can get them on Amazon. If you live in Indianapolis, come to a show. We're playing Redemption Ale Works on the 22nd, so come check that out. We're doing an hour at the Irvington Halloween Festival. Doing stuff at Wolfie's up in Noblesville. We're going the Harlequin Theater down in Columbus. So we've got some gigs coming up. It's a lot of fun.
And I was just going to say, guys, I've seen them live now probably a couple times. Yeah. And they are a blast. So if you're here local, definitely go check their shows out. But please, pick up their CD. I think you guys will really, really enjoy their sound. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We switch between big band to a hard rock to like a classic 80s party rock sound. Yeah, it's cool. 4 different people in the band sing, so you get 4 different singers on the newest album. On the original, there were 3 people singing. Cool. So you get a different feel for everything. So check us out. We should be your soundtrack. We should be your soundtrack. Join our Facebook group. I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, I think we threw a lot in one episode just then.
It's just everything we love about Halloween. Yep. And take what you want, then it's just here's all the movies we like. Definitely. The TV shows, the music. Take what you want, get started, and just get in the spirit. Spirit.
I like that. I like what you did there.
Yeah, so where can they find you on the old interwebs?
Yeah, so please, again, check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We've got Rewind Hero pages. Please check us out there. But then if you're looking for me, I'm simply at Dan Gaines. What about you, Greg?
Check me out at gcompton007 on Twitter. Or you can check out Graveyard Stompers on Facebook. Check it. Do it. Get there. Until next time, be kind.
And please rewind.
Tell you about a little place where the dead all like to go. The only way to find it is off Old Ravens Road. In a little graveyard under a crooked tree, you'll find the skeleton door, but you won't find the key. 'Cause it's no place for the living, but we might let you in. It's our favorite place called Ghastly Grimm's. Come right in and sit right down, you're sure to be amazed at the coolest sights and sounds all around that'll put you in a haze. The girls in here are to die for, they'll drop dead gorgeous, that's for sure. Eat and drink all that you like and then come back for more. No matter what you're looking for, you'll find your favorite sin. You can have it all at Ghastly Grimm's. At Ghastly Grimm's, it's like your darkest dreams. At Ghastly Grimm's, the night. If you think it's time to go, you're in for a surprise. There's only one way out of here, and that is you must die. Do not fear, you'll be one of us. This is not the end. Just come back tomorrow night and we'll do it all again. You might be living in a hearse, but you'll come